2 years. And then just last year, I think I moved across the way to a slightly bigger office.
Got it, okay.
Yeah.
Got it, okay. Oh, I didn't know that. I know y'all were at the other space and was smaller.
Oh.
How long was
The
this?
other place is way smaller than this.
Yeah, way. We've been here for like 3-4 years
3
now.
or 4 years.
Oh. I think he wants to say hi.
Oh yeah, it's my cousin, my big cousin. You laughing at me.
Yeah, he's like, oh, okay. Oh, that's what he's doing.
You telling all the guys like he think he's somebody.
Yes. It's hilarious. Okay, you ready? I want to. Okay. So tell me about the kind of like your steps in Renaissance with the mailbox.
Okay, so and when I first entered Renaissance, it wasn't enough. It wasn't a big space. We was at 3801 at that time. It was a much smaller space. Only thing available to me was a mailbox. So I rented the mailbox, but I had access to computers, fax machine, consultants, and then me and the guys at that time, we all networked. It was myself, Clifton Birch, Alfonso Rhodes, Randy Swain, Andre Lattimore. It was like 4 or 5 of us, and we would just talk and share ideas and information. And then 2 years later, I got the cubicle. I was happy to have a cubicle because now I could come. I got my mailbox, then I got a cubicle, I got a computer. So it was starting to feel like business. I'm like, okay, and every day I would come in. And at this time, I didn't have no contracts. I was on unemployment. So we would come in and grind every day. Boom. They would make sure they was there. I would make sure I was there. And I was asking questions. So like maybe 2 years into it, I finally got my first contract. And then Renaissance moved to 1325 Evans. And when they moved, it was a bigger space. And then my company started to grow. And then I was able to get an office space. So it really started feeling like, okay, you can do this, keep going. And I stayed in that one office space for 2 years. And then I moved to a slightly bigger office, only right across the hallway. But my office is a little bigger. My feet can go like this now. So, and I just kept going. So now I'm here. First it was just me when I moved into that one office. Now I have 2 people in there helping me. So it's 3 of us in the front office, and then we have guys in the field.
That's so awesome.
So Renaissance is good.
That's awesome. That's an awesome story, though. So you've been in this Renaissance like office space for how many years?
Maybe 6 years.
Wow.
6 years. It seemed like
awesome.
it's
You
flew
like seem
by.
like it flew by?
Yeah.
Really?
It's zooming. Yeah. 6 years in business. Who would have thought?
Isn't that something?
It is.
Are you good, Carolina?
Just
Okay.
plugging up that.
Oh, okay. That's awesome. Okay, so who would you say is your biggest support?
Biggest support is, I would say, colleagues, because we support each other. No one knows what it's like to be an entrepreneur but another entrepreneur. You are on the island by yourself. It's either you make it or you don't. And no one's gonna have pom-poms for you. Yeah, if you do well, yeah, everybody be like, I knew you could do it. Yeah, but if you fail, like, you know what I'm saying? So talking with my colleagues keeps me humble, keeps me focused. And seeing them do well inspires me to do better, you know, and then we just feed off each other. This is happening with me, this is happening with me. You know, keep doing this, I don't worry about that. We'll change information about RFIs, RFQs, change orders, anything that has to do with the construction language, lingo, and paperwork, we share with one another. So that's been a big help.
And you talked about like your successes. So what would you say are some of the biggest mistakes you've made in being an entrepreneur?
Wow. Some of the biggest mistakes that I've made being an entrepreneur. Probably purchasing my first car with $10,000. I should have put that towards a house. But I was excited, I had the money, and I just did it. I should have went and bought a house though. So I think that was one of my biggest mistakes.
You rectified that since.
I have.
Good.
I'm working on it.
Is that
Yeah.
that Benz? You talking about the Benz?
Yeah,
You like when you did the thing that everybody does, buys the Benz, like when they get their first check.
definitely.
You're like,
Put that camera on.
stop, no.
Man,
And so tell me, like from that, so what are some of the lessons you've learned about yourself in this journey?
to get myself out of the way.
So some of the lessons.
Some of the lessons that I learned is to get myself out of the way. Being an entrepreneur, you put everything into it, so it's kind of hard not to get emotional or be irrational about business decisions. So sometimes I got to take myself out of the way and think rationally before I react to something. You know, because sometimes you're not in control. You got to give a little to get a little in contracting and being a businessman or businesswoman. You have to know that. And sometimes from putting everything into it, you're there and you take it personally. And nothing is personal, it's just business. I had to learn that.
So tell me what makes you the happiest about being an entrepreneur.
It's being in control of my own destiny. What makes me happiest about being an entrepreneur is having the ability to be in control of your own destiny. You know, no one is here to hire or fire you. It's actually you can hire or fire yourself by doing bad work. You know, by having maybe just not skills to know how to deal with different people, how to manage money. I would say that's about it. I forgot that question.
What has been your proudest moment as an entrepreneur so far?
Hiring my sons. My proudest moment as an entrepreneur has been hiring both of my sons full time to come to work for my company, and it feels great to be able to do that.
So, so you've been able to include family in this journey as an entrepreneur, and when you were second generation, so now you are turning around and kind of creating your own legacy for your family. Like, tell me some about that. Like,
oh, absolutely. I've been able to hire most of my family. I have little cousins that work for me, both of my sons, an older brother, and my younger brother comes to work for me as well. So I'm trying to just show them, you know, like, hey, you guys can work for yourselves. You know, I'm trying to get them to have that entrepreneurial mindset as opposed to just depending on someone else to feed you.
what, if you could use 3 words to describe yourself, what would those 3 words be?
If I could use 3 words to describe myself, honest, hardworking, and caring.
What do you tell the young people coming up? Like, you look back and you're like, I made these mistakes. What do you tell them coming up now to try to inspire them that they can do what you've done?
What I would tell young people to inspire them, from my experience, I would tell them to stay in school. That education and knowledge, wisdom is key to your success. It's everything. Me being a high school dropout and, you know, having to bump my head, I learned a lot through trial and error, and it doesn't come out pretty all the time. You know, through the grace and mercy of God Almighty that I made it through, because a lot of people I know didn't. So I try to tell kids, I speak at some mentorship programs sometimes, and I try to tell them to get their education, go to college, because it's a networking base. You can do a lot of things from there. The average person, you know, that goes to college makes about $1 million more than a person who doesn't go to college. And it will work great for business. And I always say that business and homework is relative to me. I find that to be true because I was one of the people who didn't do my homework, but I see now that business, anyone can go out and physically do the work. It's when you get off work and you have to go push the invoice and you have to send in the insurance and you have to pay these other people, the homework is the most important thing. It's the glue. So if we can get the community or young kids to buy into, going to school and doing homework, we have, COOs, CEOs, presidents, young men and women that can flourish and come back and build a better community.
What do you hope for yourself and your company in the next 5 years?
What I hope for myself and the company in the next 5 years, I hope to, at 50, probably be really contemplating retirement and turning the business over to my kids so that they can, take it over and send me a check once a month. And you said the community. And the community is, I would hope to be able to mentor young men and women and see them grow and come back to the community and open up businesses. I see, chiropractors offices, dentist offices, people work on eyes, because we need that. Pediatricians, things that help us, as a whole, if the whole infrastructure fell down, where will we go? We gotta look for things outside of that neighborhood. And I just believe that we should have it in our village. We've always had that in our village. And right now, for me, I don't see it. So that's what I hope, that I can inspire young kids to just get back in school. We can get on the right track.
And I think the last question I want to ask you is that, you've born and raised in San Francisco, second generation. You see all this change going on in the city. Have you benefited from that with your contracts? Have you seen the success because of that? You hear about all these contractors out here. Have you been able to tap into that for your company?
Oh, yes. The city and county of how I've benefited from all of the growth and the change in the community is San Francisco has some unique programs. It's called certifications. It's the contract monitoring division, and there's and they give you a certification of a local business enterprise, minority business enterprise, a woman business enterprise. With these certifications on each of these projects that they're building on, especially in our community, it stipulates that they have to use a certain percentage of the community to build those projects. So myself being in business and being able to hire out of the community, I'm able to benefit myself and then help other people feed their families and pay their bills as well. So that's how it's been really good. I mean, I haven't got as much as I probably would want, but there I am with my wants. It's not about that. I'm getting what I need to come back and help feed the community. So it's been awesome.
Perfect. Do you have any other questions?
That's really good. You did a great job, but I just wanted to tie in, this is just some thoughts. Like, okay, so I know that your family has began building a legacy here. There's a street in Hunters Point named after your grandmother, and now you're building your legacy and you're hiring people that you know from the community. And to be able to do that, how does that make you feel? So I want to touch on that part.
Oh yeah.
You touched on a little bit, but
Yeah.
So let's ask. So you're second generation San Franciscan. You were raised by your grandmother for a while.
Yes.
Now tell me about her and her impact on your life.
Oh, I'm a second generation of my family, the Mabrys in Hunters Point. My grandmother, both of my grandmothers and grandfathers moved from Texas up here to work into the shipyard. Raised my mom and my dad. They were middle class families. They worked in the shipyard and they bought homes over in the Bayview. And me and my brothers being a second generation and growing up, we learned that I had an auntie who was an entrepreneur. My great grandmother was an entrepreneur. She had a senior citizen home, and my auntie had a limo service, and my uncle, Gene Mabry, is a psychiatrist. So growing up, hearing all of these stories, I just wanted to kind of educate myself. And they taught us different things. My auntie would come get us and make us deliver papers and, for political stuff, and she would pay us too, so that was cool. But we had, for my family being in the neighborhood so long, they named a court after our grandmother. It's called Mabry Court. And me being a second generation, it just makes me feel great to come back to the community after starting a business that so many people said I couldn't do, and hire folks. So that makes me feel really good to be able to give them a foundation to build something from. Even if they don't want to be janitors or laborers for the rest of their lives, they can make enough money to maybe go to school at nighttime or on the weekends and to find out what they want to do as a career or start their own businesses. But definitely hiring and coming back to the community, giving jobs is a great feeling.
That's awesome.
Perfect.
That's a great story.
I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
Y'all gonna edit it, make it sound
Yeah, we
good?
will.
'Cause I know
Yeah.
I had my hands
I
up.
know, right? Scratch it.
Yeah, you're like,